was why church is very good at uniting people. They have the same beliefs and same practices, and it's fun. It's a joyous event, right? And CrossFit, it is a joyous event, even though you're suffering through it, right? But it's fun to work out, but you're doing it with other people. Again, same beliefs. You want to live longer. You want to be able to do the hard things, to run faster, to lift heavier, or just be able to do things outside without worrying that you can't do it. And when all these things kind of happen with another person in the same environment, it's really hard to not like the other person.
If there was one thing the world was asking for, it was for one more podcast about CrossFit. Well, here we are anyways. This is the Silverback Media Podcast, where we share the stories of the everyday CrossFitter, so that more people are encouraged and empowered to try it themselves. Here's your host and everyday CrossFitter, Marco Mejia.
What is happening, Silverback Media crew? My name is Marco Mejia. I'm a CrossFit Level 2 coach in Phoenix, Arizona. I am your host here on the Silverback Media Podcast, and I am happy to be here bringing you another amazing CrossFit story. My guest on the show this week is Henry Huang. Henry is a CrossFit coach here at CrossFit North Scottsdale, which is where I coach as well. And in this story, we talk about his background, his upbringing, but also how he made his way into a CrossFit gym for the first time and how that ultimately led to him coaching and then actually owning an affiliate as well. Through this conversation, Henry actually shared with me afterwards that he got a sociology degree in college, and that shows as we talk about some of the different concepts and some of the different reasons that we explored in terms of why the community of CrossFit is such a powerful component of it. It's something that anybody that's been involved in CrossFit obviously knows about. We're all very familiar with and have experienced it. So we talk about some of the reasons and theories as to why that might be and how that can impact new people that are coming into the fold and why it's so beneficial. So it's a very, very interesting conversation along with Henry's incredible story as well. And before we get to that, whatever platform you're listening on, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you're following, whether you're listening on Apple or Spotify, or if you're watching us here on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed. Go ahead and do it across all three because it helps the robots. It helps the engagement. You know how that works. So go ahead and make sure you're subscribed, make sure you're following, go follow on social media at Silverback Media. And now that is 28 down, 10,000 to go. Now let's go talk to Henry. All right, Henry, my man. Yeah, we are live. We are ready to rock and roll. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And you're fresh off of coaching a class, so you're ready to talk some more CrossFit.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. It was a fun class at 8:30.
Yeah, except this time we're talking about you, right? So
yeah,
it's
right.
CrossFit, but I think
but about me from my perspective.
All right, so let's get into it. Let's roll it all the way back. So Henry, as a kid, growing up, what kind of sports were you getting into? Were you getting into different activities? Yeah, what kind of stuff were you into?
I mean, when I was a kid, like in elementary school, middle school, I just played outside with friends, like biking. And at school, I would play, whatever, football, soccer, whatever everyone else is playing. But in high school, I got into wrestling.
Oh, nice.
And then I got into track because my wrestling coach in high school wanted me to stay in shape in the off season.
Okay.
He was also the track coach, and they needed more bodies there, so he asked me to do it. He asked me to do the pole vaulting, so I pole vaulted in high school. Yeah.
How was that? Like they needed like they didn't have someone, so
well they had one girl that was good, and they had another kid that was like new to it. But the pole vaulting coach was the football coach that watched a pole vaulting video on how to coach pole vaulting. So it wasn't like he did his best, but it wasn't. We weren't really great at it. I wasn't really great at it. Like I learned how to do it fairly well, but I mean my best was I think maybe 11 feet that I vaulted over. Maybe 11, which is it's just. Yeah, it's still good. Like, but the guys like at varsity were getting like 15, 16 feet.
Okay.
So like a lot more than me. But me being on, I think me being there at the meets gets the team points.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's I think one reason why they wanted me to do it. But which I don't know because it's mainly for like kids, people who are lighter. And I was at that time I think 180. So like the thickness of the pole and the length of the pole really determines how much you weigh. Like the heavier you are, the bigger and thicker the pole is. So I had the biggest one because like I think the limit was 185 on that one.
Oh wow. Okay.
And it was fun though. I mean, it was fun to learning it for sure because it was all technique and you only had to sprint like 40 meters. So
true. Right. So you're probably
But
not from like you're not having to run crazy amounts of laps, I'm sure, with the rest of the track team. You're probably
no,
more
not
spaced out.
really. Yeah, yeah.
No, that's nice.
In the beginning, when they were doing conditioning, you had to run with the everybody, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I ran more. I probably ran more in wrestling, but
That makes sense. Yeah, wrestling is grueling. I wrestled for 1 year. It was in
oh
middle school, and that's all I
yeah,
remember. Like for considering the length of an actual wrestling match, right? I mean, they're relatively
yeah,
short, right? It's the few what
6 minutes,
2 minute rounds or 3 minute rounds? Yeah, like 6 minutes
three
of
2 minute
pro wrestling if you go the whole
rounds,
way.
I think. Yeah,
And
yeah,
the amount of training that you're doing
yeah.
to get ready for that
It's
is
a lot.
wild. It's a
It's
lot.
3 hours of constant. Like I think starting out the first like week is you're just conditioning, so you're running a lot.
Mm.
We call them stadium laps or wrestler laps. We just run around the track, go up the stadium, and then go down the other side of the stadium, and then go, so you're doing like stairs and then running a long distance like a couple times,
Yeah.
and then back to the gym doing like 2 hours of just wrestling. So
Yeah, which is no joke.
no, and my coach he didn't let us take it. He kind of like limited our water breaks too, so like we don't have to like go like an hour or two without drinking water,
Did
but it
they
was
make you
fine.
did they make you
But
train in like sweatsuits and stuff too? Were you
no,
guys
they didn't.
running
No,
that
they
level?
didn't do that. That was I did. I mean, I did do that after wrestling if I had to cut weight. But they
Oh
don't,
yeah,
they
yeah,
try not to promote that because it's not really the best way to lose weight. But they let it happen because if kid needs to make weight, they'll find ways to make weight. The only thing that was like they couldn't do was wear a sauna suit.
yeah.
Have you seen those before? You know it's like plastic and it has cufflinks and it cuts off and it's really tight around the waist and around the neck, so it just keeps all that heat in. Like I know kids that did it, but I think if you were caught doing that, I think it wasn't allowed. I know that, but
Well, but I mean, I'm sure between, multiple hours of nonstop training, you've
yeah.
got, a wrestling room with a bunch of, teammates already
Yeah.
running around. So the body heat in there is probably
Yeah.
insane.
And they keep
You're
it
in
warm too.
Arizona. Yeah, they
Yeah. Oh
keep it
yeah.
warm. You're in Arizona on top of it, right? So like it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know that they're cutting your water breaks. So it's like you
Yeah.
don't need to that it's kind of funny that it's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's the line. Sauna suits is the line. It's like
Yeah. Yeah. I know
that's too
it's
much, which makes sense. There's
yeah.
got to be a line somewhere, but
Right. It
yeah.
was in winter time, so it wasn't bad. But they kept the rooms. They turned the heater on in the wrestling rooms to like
Yeah.
95 or something, 92. Yeah.
Goodness
Maybe
gracious.
yeah. It was fairly warm in there. And then once you get going, like, you're just drenched in sweat and
Yeah.
kind of gross, but you get
My
used to it.
goodness. What did that frame for you in terms of how you approached fitness, exercise, and stuff after you finished wrestling? Did you wrestle any more past high school, or did you just
No,
that was
I did a intramural club in college of an
okay? Okay.
NAU, but it was more grappling than wrestling. But it was still
Mhm.
like same concepts, similar concepts,
That makes
but
sense.
yeah. As
Uh,
far as fitness wise, I mean it like I think my senior year I dropped 30 pounds in like 4 weeks to make the varsity team because there was an opening at 160 and I was at 190. And
okay.
the kid at 160 just quit. He was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And so, every week in wrestling, you had wrestle offs, or I think they were called wrestle offs, where you would challenge the guy at varsity for their spot, and then
Mm.
you would have a full wrestling match. And if you won, you take their spot.
Yeah.
And so I remember my senior year, I wanted to be at varsity. And so but there was like three of us at 190. And the other two were much better than me because I think they also wrestled in middle school and they had more experience than me. So and that helps a lot in wrestling. Experience really helps you more than strength does, although strength can help as well, just how much stronger you are.
Yeah.
But anyways, the kid at 160 was quit. And so we had a tournament coming up in 4 weeks and I was like, and the coach was like, I think he may have been joking to me, like, hey, do you want to cut 30 pounds and you can wrestle varsity? It's like, sure. And
You're
so
like, yeah,
like,
sounds great.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
like, oh crap. Oh no, I don't know what I just did.
yeah, man, yeah. So that kind of taught me how much I could push myself with, I don't know if it's healthy or not, but like with, you know, very little intake, but it made the workouts much harder, right? And how much water weight you can really lose in in a day. Because you can cut up to 10 pounds of water weight if you really wanted
Very quick.
to, but it's not very healthy though. Well, I mean, again, it's not long term, right? It's not gonna stay off. Like once you drink water and once you have some food, it's gonna come back on.
Yeah.
So
Would you say that that's like one of the, and I mean, I will like once we, I'm more curious, I'll be more curious about it
yeah,
like once we get into your CrossFit story.
Yeah.
And how like how your wrestling experience and things like that. Like, I mean, you just kind of said it, right? Like a lesson like that probably, or an experience like that shows you like, okay, this is what I'm capable of doing
Yeah.
if I need to do it, right? Not that
Right.
it's healthy to do like all the time or on a
Yeah.
regular basis, but it's like, all right, I know I got it if I need it. Like, would you say that's one of, a couple of those things
Yeah.
like are bigger takeaways that still serve you to this day from like your
I think
wrestling
so.
experience?
Well,
Yeah.
another thing is like when you're wrestling like in the match and you're tired and you can push yourself. Like it's just like a mental thing. Like if you're just if you're running or doing anything like physical, right, and you feel tired, you slow down. Like that's your
Mhm.
choice to slow down. Like sometimes you can push harder. You can like really keep going at 100%, even though you just mentally think you can't. But you can to a certain degree, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, like it shows it I mean, wrestling seems to be one of those sports and one of the, things that really like taps into that extra
yeah,
level, right? And that next
yeah,
level because of all the things that go into like whether it's making weight, practicing skills, just like we were
yeah,
saying, like the amount of training relative to how long a match is, like you've got to
yeah.
train that extra gear to know you can tap
Oh
into it.
yeah,
No pun intended,
yeah,
right?
right, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we trained it like we would do, in practice, we would wrestle for like 20 minutes, 10 minutes straight, just keep constantly going, right? Just changing positions, whatever, but without really taking too long a break. As soon as we 1 minute would finish up, we would switch positions and then go again,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so, I mean, that helps. That kind of helps build you like this capacity to perform. If you build a capacity to perform at these time frames, you can perform at a much smaller time frame just as well,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Because I mean, 2 minutes of doing anything rigorously is hard.
Yeah.
You're gonna get tired. And I remember my first match was against this guy that was a football player that some of the other wrestlers knew from because they played football. But he was a bigger guy than me. Like I think we both weighed 190, but he was much taller and much leaner, but
Okay. Okay.
just bulkier. But somehow we weighed the same.
Nice.
And and I thought he was gonna destroy me because like it was my first time. I think it was the other guy's first time as well, but he looked athletic as hell. Like I remember just when I tied up with him, his bicep was bigger than my hand, and I was just and then my coach was like, "She's like, just keep going." And so like, and I did eventually beat him, but only because he was. I learned that when you have so much muscle mass, you need more oxygen, more energy. So I was able to kind of outlast him that way. And that's the only reason I
Gotcha.
won because he got the third match. He was so tired, he laid on his back, and my coach was like, "Get on top." So I was like, "So I got on top," and then and then the ref called it
Called
there.
it.
Yeah,
Dang. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's I so I mentioned I wrestled for that one year and like you mentioned the weight classes. So the year that I wrestled I was in eighth grade, but the wrestling team at my school was small enough that like if you wanted to be on the team, you were on varsity, regard like it
oh,
was
okay.
middle school and high school. The
Was it
other
8 through 9 or
guy
8 through 12?
6 through 12,
Oh,
really.
six. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was 6 through 12, and it was just there just wasn't enough people, right? So it's
Yeah.
like if you want in and there's an open spot, an open weight class, you're on varsity. Have Here you go.
Yeah, yeah.
So the other guy that was the same weight that I was, so I was in eighth grade, and he was a senior, high school senior, and I think two-time defending state champion.
Oh, wow.
And
Oh,
so
see.
that was my sparring partner. So I learned very quickly how to get pinned fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to be like, oh no, that's uncomfortable. Pin, just lay down.
Right. Just
And
quick.
that
Yeah.
did not help at all. So
Right.
and I because we were in the same weight class, there was an opening in the weight class above us, and they weren't going to bump the high school senior up. So
Yeah.
I got
They
to
bumped you
wrestle
up. Yeah.
they bumped me up at the eighth grader. So now I'm wrestling up a weight class, just getting demolished all year. It
In
was like,
varsity?
so I was, oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
jeez.
yeah, yeah. It was not a fun experience.
Yeah, yeah. Just
I
getting
mean,
thrown around.
yeah, I think I won one match because we managed
All
to
right.
find one that was like a middle school only match. So I
Oh,
wrestled someone
okay.
that was actually my grade, and I'm like, oh my goodness, okay, look, cool, this is fun now.
Yeah,
All the other
yeah.
matches, it was like varsity, and I'm getting tossed around. I was like, all
Yeah.
right, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. You got points for the team probably
Yeah, yeah,
or
exactly.
something.
At least
Oh,
like fill a spot, right? So it's like we
right.
got whatever the point system was at that point. But I have a random pole vault question for you since you
Yeah.
mentioned it. Was it kind of freaky the first time they taught you, like showed you how to actually get up over
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
whatever
Because
the
like,
pole? I mean, I don't know what it's called, but
yeah, just a pull. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if that's a different name for it. But like the first time you stick it in, because you jam it into this like concrete hole,
Mhm.
And then, with your momentum, hopefully you can like as you stick it in, as you jam it in, and then you push down into it as you jump in the air, right? And like
Yeah.
that's kind of scary at first because there's padding all the way around the hole, but you can go up straight up, and then if you get scared and you let go, you fall straight down into the hole, into the concrete, right? It's not a deep hole, but it's still just concrete that you don't want to land on. So,
Yeah.
but once you do it once, you kind of get the feel for it, and
Yeah.
then it's just you're working on technique of how to bring your leg over the pole. Because you have the like the really good
Yeah.
pole vaulters, they'll stick it and they'll bend it so that the pole like gives a little bit of leverage so you can launch yourself over the pole.
Yeah.
So, but for me, I didn't do that as well, but I was strong enough to kind of like just muscle my way over the bar.
Nice.
So, but I
That
mean, it
kind of
was
that kind of sounds like the first time someone like tries to kick up into a handstand or something like
oh
that, you know?
yeah, yeah,
Where it's just like
yeah, yeah,
you've got to actually like kick over far enough to like get the momentum to start walking,
oh
and it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
freaky because you're like, oh, like I got to kick up
yeah,
how hard, and then you just
right,
keep falling backwards, falling backwards, falling backwards, and then you're like, all right, guess I'm just gonna go
yeah.
for it this
It's
time.
kind of the same, yeah. Because like I mean, first they just had us just push it in and just jump into the pit, just so you can
Yeah.
get more
Okay,
confidence
that
of
makes sense.
going forward. Because I think people just freak out. Like you can kick it up in a handstand, they go up and then they don't go all the way up, and they just go like at this angle here, and they're like, oh, it's too far, or they don't want to go into the wall, and they just come and they just stop and then bring it forward, right?
Yeah.
But in pole vaulting, it's if you do that, you'll just land on your back on the ground.
So sounds so
So
much worse from like 10 feet in the air.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Kicking up into a handstand probably didn't sound so freaky after that. Whenever the first time you tried it,
no.
probably
Well,
didn't
in
sound
wrestling,
so.
we did a lot of handstand walking. Not a lot, but we did. It was like at the end, you would do these games. One of them was like you see how far you can walk on your hands.
Oh,
So,
cool. Okay,
so I
nice.
knew how to do that from wrestling actually, and
Oh,
then I got better at it because I practiced more of it in CrossFit. So,
that makes sense. Yeah.
and we also had a pegboard as well.
Oh, seriously? Oh, for like the
Yeah,
grip strength, I'm sure that's
but
probably a
yeah,
huge
yeah,
one for
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. So there
Dang. All right. So
was,
you guys were ahead of the curve in terms of like what CrossFit was coming up
yeah,
with.
yeah. But I think they had one go up, and I think they had one go across as well
Oh,
because you
nice.
go across that way.
Those look so much harder. It feels like that's more
Yeah,
momentum, where like the upwards ones, it's more. It seems like more strength. I mean, accuracy obviously too, getting the pegs in there, but yeah, that's
yeah.
an interesting
I also tell
interesting
people
feat.
if they have issue getting the peg into the hole is if a lot of times people are trying to jam it straight in, right? Which if the hole's right in front of you, jamming it straight in is easy. But when it's going up, your depth isn't as good. So I tell people to strike above the hole and then drag it down. And
Oh,
most of the time,
interesting.
you'll get in the hole a lot easier at least. If you
That
miss a
makes
hole,
sense.
all you have to do is pull your weight, use your weight to pull it down, and then it'll go in.
Yeah, that's probably easier
So
than the other way. Like if you hit below it, because then your gravity's already pulling you down to try to push it back up. You're like you're fighting against. Yeah. Oh, I
yeah.
like that. Okay. All right. We don't have
So
a pegboard at the gym, but
no.
next time I come across a random pegboard, I'm going to test that out.
Yeah, yeah. I had one at my gym. They're fun to have, but they're
Yeah.
not many people get to use it or want to use it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. So when was the first time then that you heard about CrossFit? When was the first time that became something that you were like, huh, what is going on over there? What are those crazy people doing?
First time was 2010 because I just
2010.
moved
Okay.
back. 'Cause I graduated in '08 from ASU, and then I moved and I lived abroad for a year in Taiwan. And then when I moved
Oh, nice.
back, my friend Chris, he had been doing it for like a year or two, and he lost a lot of weight. And
Yeah.
he was just telling me about it. Say, hey, you want to come try it out? I was like, at the time, I wasn't really interested in trying it out, but I think after a few months of him just asking me a bunch of times to come try it out, I found like, all right, I'll try a class out. And he told
Were
me to
you
try
doing
out.
were you
No,
working were
back
you
then I
doing
was
much?
just no, I was running and then going to the gym
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
and just benching a lot, basically, like most
typical
guys.
typical like yeah,
Yeah,
college
bench
age, yeah.
by
program.
biceps and some back and tries,
Yeah.
that thing. So, but after doing like that for a few months, it was getting kind of boring. So I told my buddy Chris I'll come try it out,
Yeah.
and he told me to come the next day because he knew what the workout was, and it was Fran. So
No.
my first workout was
Wait, yeah,
Fran.
we talked about this. Yeah.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
talked about this recently. Goodness gracious.
yeah. So that was actually a cactus CrossFit, which I know some members have used to go to. But this was so Cactus CrossFit was in the air park
Mm.
over on I think Redfield.
Okay.
It was in a little tiny like 1,300 square foot suite. And so,
Nice.
but yeah, so that's where I first did CrossFit, and it was
And your first
Fran.
workout was Fran. And how did
Yeah,
you feel after that? Like,
I
what were you
felt
thinking going into it? Because you probably see pull ups and thrusters. I mean, I would
yeah
guess that you probably could do pull ups at that point, but
yeah
probably
I
not
could.
kipping or anything, right?
No, I did it straight. I did straight pull-ups.
Oh, okay.
And I think the thrusters, like squatting was something I never did, like with weight in high school
Mm.
or at all. So, but I mean, I always did, military presses or just pressing overhead, shoulder presses all the time. So that part wasn't bad, but the squatting and then pushing overhead after the squat was new to me. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I did RX. I don't think I did RX.
Yeah.
Maybe 65,
That
maybe the
sounds
bar.
about
I don't
right.
remember.
Yeah.
But
And I can't
it took me
imagine
like
holding it. Go ahead.
16 minutes, I think, the first time I did it.
You said
16,
16 minutes?
16, yeah, 12 or 16 minutes. One of those two numbers. But I did all straight pull-ups. So, I would do the thrusters, however long that took me, and then I would do the straight pull-ups in however many sets. But it took
Nice.
a while because I was like doing the thrusters for the first time. If you've never done like squatting under a load before, it was
Yeah.
I remember that being like the hardest thing ever because I
Nice.
couldn't really breathe very well after doing like the first set. So I think the second set, the 15s, took the longest,
Sounds about
as
right.
it
I
usually
feel like
does.
even once you get used to like, the volume of thrusters and kipping pull-ups and being able to
Yeah.
connect them and stuff, that round of fit for whatever in a 21:15:9, like regardless of the workout, the 15
Yeah.
always
It's
seems to be the
the
separator. It's like if
hardest.
you can fight through the 15, then
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
at
oh, yeah.
nine and it's like, oh, smooth sailing. But
Oh
man,
yeah.
that 15 sucks.
It does. I think the guy like Kevin, he was the one. I think he was trying to teach me how to kip the pull up like in during the workout. So that maybe that's why it
Mm,
took a little bit longer. But either way, it was. I mean, after I finished it, I was kind of hooked on it because
yeah,
you're working out with other people and it's more fun that way too because they're doing the same stuff as you
yeah,
and it's kind of a competition. I mean, it's not a competition, but it kind of is.
yeah.
Because there's a clock and you're trying to get it done as fast as you can. So, uh, but yeah, it was fun. And I met some really cool people in that class. So I came back. The second time I did it, that's when I met Jason, the guy who owned North Scottsdale with Shane.
How did your like body feel a couple days after
Afterwards,
Fran?
I mean, my
Yeah.
arms hurt, my legs hurt. They're very sore. Because I think the second workout, I remember the second workout was power cleans and ring dips and
Okay.
running. The
Okay,
ring
you
dips,
said power cleans and ring dips. I'm like, was it Elizabeth? Did they go Fran and
yeah,
then
well,
Elizabeth the
yeah,
next day?
maybe. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I think they were following Invictus programming back then
Oh, okay. Okay.
because they used to post their workouts on the website,
Yeah.
and so. But
Nice.
maybe it might have been Elizabeth, but I don't think it was the next day. It was like probably the next week that I came back to do it
Okay.
because
But and you said that like between the community aspect, right? Like the kind of
yeah,
competitive aspect, like those are the things that really got you hooked on. It was that competitive aspect. I'm curious if that was like something that kind of tapped into like the old wrestling days, right? Like um
yeah,
the team sport piece and being like, all right, like, and like you said, there's there's competition happening in each class, right? A lot of it is
right,
competition with yourself, it's competing against the
yeah,
clock. There is that kind of like, especially once you kind of get comfortable with the people in the class you go to, there's that like
yeah, oh yeah,
unspoken competitiveness between like you and a couple other people. It's like, all right, I want to beat them, but like I'm happy for them
right,
one way or another.
right, right.
Did it start to tap into that, like some of those old
Oh
like you
yeah, for
mentioned, like
sure.
wrestling practice and yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it did because I wanted to get because like I was new to it and I see all these other guys that are really good at it and made me want to try to learn and get better at it too, so I can either keep up or see if I can be faster. So
yeah.
it was just for me, it was a good way to kind of push me.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the first time you said like, seeing other people doing things in class and being like, oh crap, like, that looks kind of cool. What was it? Do you have a moment like early on that you saw someone do something where there was a certain movement or something like that that you were like, oh crap, I really want to figure that out. Like I have no idea how that person just did what they just did, but I want to figure that out.
Yeah. First time I saw a bar muscle up, I was
Mm.
like, that looks pretty cool. I mean, that looks hard as hell because I mean, I knew how to do a pull up, but like to swing yourself up and then pull over the bar is something I've never like seen. And
Yeah.
you see in the Olympics, they do like, they're on the bars and doing all that stuff, but like in gymnastics, I mean, but I've never seen it in person. I've never seen it done in a workout as well. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
And
And
that seems to be such a common answer that I get
yeah,
to that question. For whatever reason,
yeah,
it seems to be bar muscle ups. It's bar muscle ups or it's one of the Olympic lifts. There
yeah.
seem
The
to be the
clean, the
two
power
the
cleans
two things.
was another one of them too. Seen people do
Okay.
a power cleans because I never even knew what a power clean was
Oh yeah,
up
yeah,
until then. Because the second day we had to do my second workout was again power cleans, right? So like I had to learn what the power cleans were, and yeah, just seeing people later on like put on like a lot of weight and then just clean it to their shoulders pretty easily was kind of cool
yeah.
to see.
Yeah,
So
how was that first power clean day? And I asked that knowing now, like, we've
yeah,
worked out in class together. I watch you clean, and I'm like, good grief, freaking Henry can move
yeah,
some weight. So I'm curious what that
yeah.
like first power clean day was like for you.
I don't remember exactly what it was like, but I just remember like it was completely foreign to me to use a barbell like that, right? Because again, I didn't really squat that much in high school or again at all or deadlift. Like all I really did was bench. So like I didn't really know like to pick it up, keep it, have good form, bring it to your shoulders here. Like I didn't even know what a front rack really was
Yeah.
when I started out. So it was all pretty new to me. And once I got comfortable with it, it was fun. And
Yeah.
then,
Oh yeah.
so
How long did that take? Like if you it just kind of
um,
roughly from like that first time you tried it to when you feel like all right, like I think I've kind of got this down a little bit.
probably a couple months because I started in August of 2010
So
and the first open was in 2011, February 2011.
is that the 7 minutes of burpees year?
No, that
No,
was the second open,
that's
2012.
2012. Okay, okay, okay. Oof.
Yeah, I remember that workout. That was
That's something I don't think I ever want to experience. I
seven.
haven't had to
Yeah,
do it yet, and I don't know
yeah, I'm
if
gonna
I
do
ever
it.
want
Yeah, no,
to.
it's a grinder. I mean, it is actually kind of fun because like when I first did it, like when that workout came out, like one of the top scores was like this random guy in Russia that posted a video of it, and he did like 130 or 120. I can't remember what the exact number was, but it was a lot of burpees
Yeah,
in 7 minutes. And I remember I think the first time I did it, I was just under 100, and I think the second
still
time
a
I
lot.
still a decent amount, but like other people were doing 110, 120. I was like, how do you get? I know. I think that the second time I did it, I think 100 and something, maybe 107.
Yeah,
But I couldn't imagine going faster than that. So I mean that part amazes me when I do these workouts and I push myself really hard and I see other guys just destroy my score. I'm like I can't go any faster. And I think the guy that did it was maybe on a shorter guy, so he was fast. He was also a gymnast too. So I
oh,
think
that makes sense.
he was also light, and so but yeah,
A little shorter range of motioning, used to
yeah,
controlling
yeah,
his own body weight kind of thing. But I think, and you mentioned something that kind of taps into like, you know, well, a couple things, right? One is that, you felt like you were able to push yourself, but maybe like there was really nothing else you could have given. I wonder how much of that was like learned through your wrestling background and
yeah,
stuff, just like knowing how to tap into that and be like, all right, like we're going
yeah,
for it, right? Like physically, maybe your body was just not able to go faster, but mentally you were like, we're gonna keep going because that's what it is. But it's also that competition of like you competing against yourself. I mean, yes, the Open's a worldwide leaderboard.
yeah,
Um, but you're looking to see like where can I set the bar for myself, right?
right,
Like how
yeah,
high, how far can I push myself
yeah,
in this experience? Because 7 minutes of
yeah,
burpees, there's not a lot of. I mean, there's technique. I'm sure if you're at the top levels, but for the majority
yeah,
of us, it's just kind of like go get her done.
yeah, yeah. I think, yeah. I mean, in wrestling, you either practice going past your limits, what you think your limits are, a lot more, right? So you get the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it.
Yeah.
So I think for like a lot of people who haven't done that or started to do that, it's hard to push past that comfort level, right? So the moment most people like when their heart rate's up and they're trying to catch their breath, they want to slow down, which is I
Mhm.
think an appropriate thing to do.
Yeah.
But I found it's kind of fun to push it past that for certain things. Burpees I can push past that, right? Because it's just a body weight. You're just basically just falling and standing up. But for like heavier barbell movements, I try not to do that because that's when things
Things
go
can start to get a
bad.
little, yeah, things can start to
Yeah,
get a little squirrely if you push past that limit too far. Yeah. On like
yeah,
barbell
yeah,
movement. And for, I don't know about you, but for me specifically, like the high level gymnastic stuff, like if I get too far past that limit, like those things go away. The fatigue sets
Yeah.
in so quickly, and it's just like, nope, there's no coming back from that. At least not in this
No,
workout. Like
no.
it's gone, it's done.
Yeah, yeah.
Which that kind of goes into like the bar muscle up thing, which I wanted to go back to because now I know you have bar muscle up, so I'm curious what that experience was like when you got your first one. Considering like you said that when you first saw someone do it, you were like, "What the hell is that? How'd that happen?"
Yeah.
So I'm curious now. Then, fast forward to whenever you got your first one, what was that? Hey, quick interruption from me. I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. If you are, I have a favor to ask of you. The main way that this thing can continue to spread is through word of mouth. So if you're enjoying this episode, send it to someone or share it with someone that may benefit from it or enjoy it as well. Leave a comment, drop a 5-star review, follow the show, share about it on social media. That's the main way that we can help get this message out to others so we can continue to spread this, okay? I'd really appreciate it if you do that. And now let's get back to the show.
I first, I think I got a ring muscle up before I got bar muscle up.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For whatever
Which
reason,
one of those do you, which one of those do you
rings.
prefer? I feel like some people it's like one or the other seems to make more sense.
I think now I prefer a bar muscle up because I do them more often now. I haven't done a ring muscle up in a while, but for some reason though, I struggle with bar muscle ups for whatever reason when I was starting to learn them. But ring muscle ups I got not fairly quickly, but I remember the first time I saw a ring muscle up was in the workout, I think in the open workout,
Hmm.
and I saw Jason do one, and he was just kind of showing me how to like swing and to get the kip. At the time, my kip wasn't like smooth. But that's the way to describe it. It was very chaotic. Like I was just kind of basically just humping the air really hard, you know? So I had a pretty good hip, but it wasn't very controlled. So like when I first did I did a ring when I first second attempt in a ring muscle up, I just got the perfect swing, got the perfect kip, and I got it. And I got a ring muscle up like not that many tries, after not that many tries. But then I couldn't get it again after for like another month or so. So
Sounds about right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You're on top of the ring, so then you're like, all right, that was awesome. How did I do that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I don't know how I did that because it was it was really surprising. And then again, I was trying to like chase that thing ever since, but it took me a little bit to get that down. But at the time at that gym, it was at Cactus Roster. They only had one set of rings,
Hmm.
and it was Cactus Roster had these had a false ceiling, so
Yeah.
the rings were anchored through the ceiling through the one of the tiles.
Oh, interesting.
So you so at the top you're like inside the false ceiling. So but
I feel like
but
I've seen
once
that happen. We were like dropping in at a gym once, and I feel like
yeah,
they
you
had a
see it
similar
some.
setup. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah. I've
man,
seen it at
it's
a
like
few
up in
gyms.
the ceiling.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's you gotta do what you gotta do because I've seen it at gyms I've dropped into where they have a false ceiling and then they have a hole for just for the ring muscle ups.
Yeah.
So
So the bar muscle up then that first one that you got because so if the rings kind of came a little bit, at least that first one came quickly. It took a little
yeah,
bit to kind of get them consistent after that. How about the bar muscle up story? I want to hear the story of Henry's first bar muscle up and what it felt like
um,
to be on top of that bar the first time.
I don't remember that first time to be honest, but once I got the technique down, once someone told me that you're basically doing kind of lat pull down with your arms, I remember hearing that kind of clicked it for me.
Yeah,
And then I figured that out, I tried it and I was able to get one from that.
yeah,
But then I mean I don't remember it, but it just kind of happened.
yeah. Thinking back on it now, that is it after getting those done or after actually being able to unlock that bar muscle up for you, was it kind of funny then thinking back to like when you first started and thinking like, oh man, like I saw somebody do that and had no idea how they even made
Yeah.
it there, and now look at this, now here I am.
Yeah.
I'm one of those
Yeah.
people.
Right. I mean, it was cool. I mean, it was my biggest thing was that once I got it, I was like, all I want to do is try and get another one, right? You
Yeah,
just want to get better at it, right? Try to link them together, which I still have problems doing. But
yeah.
but yeah.
And I think that's one of the cool things about CrossFit too in general, right? Is there's like no matter what kind of things you start to uncover, whether it's like a PR on a new lift or a new gymnastics movement, it's like there's in a good way, there's always something else to be working on. Right. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, cool. You
Yeah.
got that first bar muscle up. Awesome. Now there's a whole different skill set that comes with linking them together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm still trying to learn I know how to do it,
Yeah.
but in practice, it's not always for whatever reason. I can't. I'm not very good at it. Like I can do two or
Okay.
three and then drop off, and then for some reason I lose it in the next set. So
Well, that's
at
something
least,
maybe you and me next time we get in the gym together, we'll play around with that. We'll see if we can figure
yeah,
something
yeah, we
out.
can do that. Yeah. I can always learn
So
something.
yeah, so well, and that's a kind of a good segue. So when did coaching become something that you were, whether you were started to get interested in doing or someone asked you to get into it? Like when did that become something that you were interested in exploring?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I wasn't really interested in coaching at first. I didn't even think about potentially even doing it. But I think in 2014, Jason, he was like, "Hey, do you want to get your L1? Do you want to coach?" I was like, "Do you think I can do that?" He's like, "Yeah." He was really supportive about it. He like encouraged me to get it,
Yeah.
and and one day I was like, "All right, I'll get the L1 and then see how it is, and then see if I would something I would want to do afterwards." So, and I got the L1, and it was amazing. Like it was a
Yeah.
great 2-day course, and you take it into the L1. It's very like it's hard to leave the L1 and not want to help other people like learn how to do CrossFit and teach people how to do CrossFit.
For
So
sure.
yeah, and I'm sure they still say it now, but they, at the end of the course, they always tell you that like don't that's just because you take this 2-day course doesn't mean you can go out and then coach CrossFit right away. Like you know the stuff, but you still need to be able to put it in practice. So they always say to like find someone, shadow somebody, and learn that way. So and that's what I did. So after I did that, I was like, all right. So I talked to Jason about it, and I shadowed him for like almost a year. Because it was again like talking in front of people and coaching people is something I've never really would want to do growing up, you
Yeah.
know. So like, but that was intimidating at first, and it still kind of is sometimes. But at the same time, you get to help people out and you get to like be a good part of their day, and so that makes it kind of worth it going through that, a little bit of fear at first.
Yeah, well, okay, so a couple questions off of that
Yeah,
story. One, and this is, what's that? It was 2014, so
yeah. 2014 is
11,
when I
12 years ago when you got the L1.
yeah
This is kind okay, this is
yeah
a loaded question, but if you could think
yeah.
back, what does anything in particular stick out from that L1 experience that made it really sink in for you that you were like, "Oh crap, like there's more to this whole thing than just kind of the hard workouts." Like, you kind of mentioned coming out of
Yeah.
that, you were like ready to go. Was there any one thing that comes to mind from that experience?
Oh, it's a good question. I don't
It's a
know.
long
Like
time ago, so that's
it was a long time ago. Yeah, I don't know. I just remember like I think Lisa Ray was the what do you call it? The
a
headmaster.
seminar flow
Yeah,
master.
the flow master.
Yeah.
And she was very passionate about it. She was like very really into it, and that just her talking about it just made me want to like get more in, like learn more about CrossFit, and learn more how to like be a good coach. And I can't remember who else was there, but I don't
Yeah.
remember to be honest. It was a long time ago. But yeah,
Well, and I think she might still
I think
be
she's still
doing
doing it
the
because
flow master thing. Yeah.
I think, yeah, I think she's still, for sure still doing it. She used to own CrossFit Flagstaff.
Well,
She,
really? Okay. Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that. Yeah.
yeah, I think, but she sold it, I think, a few years ago
Gotcha.
to
Okay.
whoever runs it now.
And then how did that? So you hear someone like her, right, going through the lessons and things like that, and kind of helping facilitate and run that course, and you hear the passion behind it, and you're like, okay,
Yeah,
like that kind of fueled it for you. Then I never met Jason,
yeah,
but just like hearing stories about him from whether it was between you me and Lon the other day, right,
yeah, yeah.
chatting or hearing stories from other people in the gym. Like, did he give off that same passion? Like, so when you started
Oh
shadowing
yeah,
him, was
yeah,
it just easy to kind of follow along with that and like, oh
yeah.
yeah,
He's
this is
yeah. I mean, Jason was very high energy, very charismatic. He's very good with people. He's very he can be like really in your face sometimes in a good in a good way. So, and he liked to push people, especially if he thinks you can go harder, if you can go faster or heavier. So, and he was good at that. And he for me it helped a lot because I need that push, right? So,
yeah. And
yeah.
so how did that help you then kind of work through that? Like you said, kind of the fear of being in front of a class, talking to people, like running people through, the workout for that day or whatever the case was. Like, how did being around him help you kind of step into that role yourself?
I mean, first, just watching him do it and see like how he does it and like the mindset behind it. And also, he'll just make you just take over a part of a class.
Mhm.
He just kind of threw it in the fire. And that kind of, it's hard at first, but then you do it again, you do it enough times, you get comfortable with it, more comfortable with it, less uncomfortable with it, whichever. But
Yeah, however you want to word it, however you want to
yeah,
phrase that,
yeah.
right?
And so, I mean, that kind of helped. That helped a lot just to kind of like be forced to do that. And usually he would pair me up with like new people,
Okay.
which I think is good for like I think a new coach, just because there's not, at least for me, like if I have, a new coach and I'm coaching someone who's already experienced, in my head I'm thinking like, well, this probably doesn't think I have anything to offer that person, right? But with a new person, they don't know anything, right? So you can kind of like, not as an experiment, but like be more bold with what you say to that person and like kind of test it out, like how you want to explain things. And then if it doesn't work, you can kind of like, fix it and then try something else with a new person, right?
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
yeah.
There's kind of a weird parallel there with the pole vaulting experience, like you mentioned,
Yeah.
right? It's like, okay, it's like, all right, we're gonna test this kind of jump and just fall on the mat like without any
Yeah,
weight
yeah.
barrier or anything to get over, and then all right, now let's add in some things, and then we'll kind of like
Yeah, yeah.
sprinkle in the added difficulty
Yeah, yeah,
as
yeah.
you go and as you get more comfortable with it too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
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 Was there kind of like similar question to before, I kind of asked you like if there was any when you first started going yourself as a member, like if you saw anybody do something that you were like, holy crap, like that's awesome. um Similar question, but from a coaching perspective, like do you remember seeing somebody or giving someone a cue that worked and they did something, or a moment like that where you're like, oh crap, like that's you know this coaching thing is really cool. Like I'm sure you had the
Yeah.
passion behind it, you were shadowing Jason, but then in practice for you doing it, was there a moment like that for you that you're like, oh, this is awesome, this is what it's about?
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of ones. I've been coaching because I've been coaching for a long time.
Yeah.
But I mean, one thing that I think is really cool. This is one member, Christy. I think she's not there anymore, but she was afraid of not afraid, but she was really intimidated by doing box jumps,
Okay.
just jumping on anything. So like even a 12-inch box was something like out of her, she didn't think she could do. So we started her, I just had her start small on a plate, like 1 pound plate. And then eventually she got to a 12-inch box jump,
Nice.
which for her, like she was like, so ecstatic about that she got it. And that's really
Yeah,
cool to see. It's like a small victory, but it's for her it's a big victory, right?
for sure. Yeah,
So just seeing it like
that's cool.
seeing it like that is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, especially, something like that for, in that situation for someone like her, like she's taking that attitude of like, holy crap, I can do that, right? She's
Yeah.
taking that out into the rest of her day,
Right, right. Yeah.
which is, I'm sure, such a cool thing to see. And then, so yeah, I mean, yeah, you mentioned you've been coaching for, I mean, how long have you been coaching now? It's been what,
I
10,
mean,
10 years? I mean,
yeah, because 2014 when I
2014, you
got
got
to
your
L1,
L1,
but 2015 is when I think, had my first class,
your first
which
class.
I don't
What was it?
remember what that
Yeah,
was like. I
I was gonna
don't.
ask about that. I feel like that first class experience of like getting up in front, like running it completely by yourself is usually uh,
Yeah.
a transcendent moment, we'll say, for coaches.
Yeah. I don't remember the first class exact, but I know the feeling of it. It's like, because usually, when you start out, you try to like prepare for the class as much as you can, try to like, time it out so the class isn't running over or running too short. And I just remember like just the first probably a year or two. I would just when it's like if I'm from a class and there's people that haven't coached before, I just blank. Like I just forget everything I wrote down. I'm like,
It's,
oh God, I
it's like,
don't know what
all right,
yeah, yeah. Yeah. And then you do the brief and then like tell them to go for a run and then it kind of comes back to you slowly, right? So that was for a while like that almost every class,
yeah,
but yeah, but
especially with
it's
it. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I was it's not too bad after a few times,
Yeah,
especially if you coach the same time every day, you get more familiar with the members. Yeah, as a
yeah.
coach, I think, especially as a new coach, I think it helps just having that familiarity with the people that you're talking to already.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah, because then they learn your style. They kind of know where you're coming from, and
yeah,
you get comfortable with them and like seeing how they move and stuff and coming up with ideas for them on how to, yeah, when you see someone for their first time, it's like you can see general things, but like, yeah, you start to see more of what they're capable of or more of what they
Yeah.
do. Then you're like, oh, okay. Like, you have this issue, which, oh, that makes sense because you do this thing on this other exercise and this is how those are connected. And we can kind of start to work on understanding
Yeah.
those things. Right.
Yeah. And you kind of learn their faces too. Because sometimes with people like, if they're listening to you, their face is very neutral.
Mm.
And sometimes you say something and then you don't know if they're actually listening or if they're like, if what you said made sense to them. And
Yeah.
then for me, at least, I kind of freak out if I don't think they understand me. You know,
Yeah.
you just have like eight faces just looking at you and none of them are like reacting at all. But they're probably just listening, or waiting for you
See,
to say whatever's next.
I'm used to that face because I
Oh,
coach the early mornings, right? At
oh
5:30
yeah.
a.m. Everybody's got that blank
That
stare that you're just like,
everybody.
I'm pretty sure you heard me.
Yeah. And and for the most part, they'll ask you, right? Or hopefully you have a good enough relationship with them. If they feel comfortable enough to ask you what you just said, which
Yeah.
happens a lot. I
Yeah.
think almost, especially the 5:30, they do like to ask what the
Which is
workout
a good,
was, or yeah,
I mean, it's a good thing, right? And I mean, you tell her,
yeah.
but like, especially if you've got like that 5:30 a.m. class, right? Like recently it's been, 15 to 20 people.
Oh yeah, for
It's like,
yeah.
I'd much rather have somebody ask and be clear and like we talk about it
Oh
than the
yeah, for
opposite
sure.
and someone not
Yeah,
ask, right? Like I'm sure you'd probably feel the same way.
yeah. Like for me, I don't mind repeating myself. I don't mind like if I explain the workout and show the movements, and then someone else comes up to me like in 5 minutes saying, "Hey, what is this?" I'm like, in my head, like I just explained it, but I don't, but I don't mind explaining it again because I think I want them to feel comfortable, right? Because whatever they could be looking at me and they're like, they're just waking up, they're just not hearing anything you're saying, right?
Well, and there are times where someone will ask a question. It's like, oh crap, good point. I didn't even think about that. It's
Yeah,
like, all right,
yeah,
hold on, everybody stop really quick. So
yeah,
yeah, good
yeah.
question. Like here's this thing that I forgot to mention. Here's how it's
Oh,
gonna
for
work,
sure,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
It's,
it's always good for from a member's perspective, right? If you're not clear on something,
just
you
ask.
you better off asking, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what you're there for, right? To answer any questions they have,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
right?
Right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. As a coach, you want to make sure everybody's on the same page and that
right.
everybody's got all the information they need to like properly do the workout for that day, right?
Oh,
Somebody comes
yeah,
up to you after and they're like, "Oh, I wasn't sure about how to do this thing," and then you're like, "Damn!" Like
yeah.
at
Just
least for
ask
me,
me
then I'm like, "All right, I need to talk to you a little bit more so that way you feel
for sure.
comfortable asking."
Yeah. I mean, some people aren't comfortable asking questions, which is fine too. You just kind of have to
Yeah.
like find those people, and then after you do the brief, just go up to them, make sure that they understand it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you
Well,
just want
that's the thing, though.
everybody
I
to
feel.
feel comfortable,
Oh, oh, for oh, yeah, 100. And I feel like that's kind of a good thing to mention, whether it's for long-standing members or almost especially like brand new people in the gym too, right? Like there's
yeah,
a lot of stuff that's not going to make sense if you're brand new starting in CrossFit, right? Like
yeah,
that's the time to ask the questions. And as the coach, you want to make sure that you're probably like helping make sure that they're comfortable asking the questions. But also
yeah,
like, man, that's not the time to be like, well, let me just hold on to this one and see if I can figure it out. It's like, no. You're early on. Go ahead and ask the question. It's okay.
yeah.
Like that's what we're here for.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And then so uh, did you did you get to a point where you were coaching full time? I mean, I know this is kind of fast forwarding a little bit, but you owned an
Yeah.
affiliate, for a
Yeah.
little while too. So did you before getting into owning your own affiliate, were you at a point where you were coaching full time or were you kind of doing it mostly
Mm.
part time?
I think in the beginning, in 2015, 2016, I was coaching probably not, I mean, full time is kind of part of the fine because full time is not 40 hours a week, right? In coaching.
Right, true. Yeah.
But I was coaching, I think the first year, I think I started maybe 5 or 10 classes a week.
Okay.
And then I had to quit my job at that point, my full-time job. And I think I was coaching probably 20 hours at some weeks,
Oh wow. Damn.
between
Okay.
15 and 20. Well, at that point, Shane had the gym in Mesa.
Hmm.
So I would coach at Scottsdale and Mesa.
Oh, so you're
And
bouncing all over the city to like go to
yeah,
classes too.
yeah,
Dang. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know, I wasn't coaching full time, but I was coaching a good amount of classes for a while for the
Yeah.
first part. So, and
And then
then,
yeah, go ahead. I think you're
and
going where I was going to ask you next.
And then, well, then in 2018, I bought, that's when I bought the gym from Shane.
Okay. And that
20
was the one
August.
in Mesa.
That was the one in Mesa, yeah. So
Nice.
it was East Mesa. It's over at
Okay.
Greenfield in the 60, which is like
Nice.
30 minutes away from where North Scottsdale is, because it's all
And
highway.
what was the at that point when the I guess either when that opportunity came up or you started thinking about it, like it was that something you had considered for a while? Were you thinking about,
No, I
owning an
was,
affiliate?
well, and I think in 2017, I was trying to figure out what I was, because I think in 2017, I was working, I was coaching a decent amount, and I was also working this marketing company that Shane had for a little bit too. And I was also like driving for Uber. So I had all these, little side jobs, but and I had to decide like I needed something that's more stable, or at least something that's more, I don't know, like a real job. But so in 2017 I was contemplating just quitting coaching and then going back to supply chain. And a few friends were like, just maybe they thought they brought up maybe I could open a gym, a CrossFit gym, or buy one. And at the time I was like, I don't know how to run a business. You know, it's pretty, it's a big thing to take on. And whenever I ask people that had businesses or that that had their own things, I was like, at them asking for advice on how to start, or whatever, and they just said you just have to do it. Just have to like take that first step into buying it or the opening an LLC or all that. Like for me, like just do it. It sounds like a not that great of advice, but really, it's really what you have to do is like if you want to start a business or you want to do something different, you really just have to take that first step to into doing it, right? So I think in 2017 I thought about maybe buying it from Jane, but I didn't know if I could or what that would even look like. And then eventually I asked him if he was interested in selling it in like December, I think 2017. And he said yes, he was interested in selling it. And
Nice.
so and then we went back and forth a little bit. My buddy Chris, he helped me out with like just how to like look at businesses and all because he did my buddy he worked in finance. He did a bunch of like mergers and acquisitions, so he knew how to look at balance sheets and all that.
Is that the
And
same
so
Chris that took you to
yeah, it
your
was the
first
same.
class?
Yeah, it
Oh
was.
yeah, there we
Yeah,
go, Chris.
yeah, yeah. And so he like helped me like do all. I mean, Shane was helpful too, but it was kind of nice to have a different opinion that wasn't like involved in the process.
Yeah.
And so eventually we settled on a price, and then we settled on how to go through the purchase agreement. And then in 2018, I took it over in August of
Nice. Okay.
2018. So,
Isn't it funny how like sometimes the simplest advice is the best advice, but also the advice you least want to hear. Like
oh
how you were
yeah,
saying
yeah,
how like
yeah.
people are like, oh, you just got to do it, and you're like,
That's
that's
not
not
what I'm
what I was
asking.
looking for.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I mean,
ultimately, like you look back on it and you're like, yeah, I mean, it
I mean
wasn't
that's
what I
what I
was
would say
wanting to hear, but it
now.
was true.
Yeah, I mean that's what I would say now to anybody that wants to like start a business or whatever. Just hit the, just do it and stop thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
And stop
And I'm sure
stop like pushing it off or procrastinating.
once you finally asked Shane that first time if he was even
Oh
interested, it's like,
yeah.
well,
Well,
no turning back now.
no, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it took me a little bit to like ask him that too, because like I don't want to ask him if he says no, and this might be just weird
Yeah.
after that.
Well,
But it was fine. It was mostly just me in my head, you know.
yeah. Well, that's a good point there, right? That it's like, and I mean, sorry to
And
go
I
super philosophical on this, right? But
yeah,
it's like, even for people thinking about starting CrossFit, just like kind of in the vein of this whole thing,
no,
right? It's
sure.
like, how long is it that you're just thinking about it and like, oh, well, I've heard these things on Instagram or seen
Yeah,
this, whatever. And it's like, no, you kind of just got to go do it and
yeah,
experience it for yourself, right? And then
yeah, yeah,
most of the time you end up just realizing it's like, oh no, that's all just stuff that was, that was in my head, right? Like
yeah,
that's not reality once I experienced it or once I actually took the step, you know?
yeah. And it's hard to explain it too. Like when my friends do it, when my friends like ask me about what's CrossFit, I'm like, I can tell them like the stuff we do in class, but it doesn't really make sense to them because they're not familiar with it, right? And
Yeah,
so,
right. Yeah.
I mean, you really have to try it. Just take a class and see if you like it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, 'cause there's so much that goes into it. Like yes, there's obviously the workouts and the way they're structured and like the, nitty gritty detail behind like, doing programming and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? But it's
Yeah,
like, man,
yeah.
there's so much more to it that's hard to explain it unless you have someone sit down and they really ask you and they want to know and you're like, all right, do you have like 45 minutes? Because we're gonna have a little chat.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Right. It takes a little bit to
Yeah.
explain it. And then even then, like you explain all that stuff, they may half it may not make sense to them, right?
Yeah,
So
what's your I mean, that's the elevator pitch, right? It's like, all right, when are you free later this week? Because you just got to come with me
yeah.
and come try it.
Right. I'm like my friend buddy Chris is trying to get me to do it for like months.
Yeah.
You know, it took me just going into the gym and trying it out to really understand what it was.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So
so I guess it's because then okay, so then you have the affiliate, you buy the affiliate, right? And now
yeah.
you know, you've got new leads, prospects, potential clients, whatever you want to call them, that are
Yeah.
coming in and probably asking you that question, right? Like, what is
Yeah.
CrossFit? Why should I sign up? Right? Like, what were you telling them?
Well, I would ask them like what they did for fitness first.
Mm.
Because like sometimes if they've done like group fitness classes, it's kind of easier to describe it. But if they've never
Mm.
done anything, like they just run or they just go to the gym, like if they tell me that or they don't do anything at all, I'm like, it's just like it's kind of like personal training, but in a small group setting. But it's really something you just have to kind of try and see if you like this style of training. And and then sometimes they'll say it'll lead them to getting trying a free class, or if they'll have some more questions about it. But usually when they walk in, it's usually during the class. I think I can kind of just show them like it's what it is, right? There's a coach, there's
Yeah.
somebody there taking you through everything. We're there to help you out with it, whatever movements that you don't know that you're not familiar with, and we'll
Yeah.
always teach you how to do the movements too. So
That makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, because
Yeah,
I
and
think
it's something
nowadays,
that you could show people, you could show them. You're like, oh, there it is, right there, right? Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what a class is going to look like, right?
yeah. So yeah, so if they're walking in when there's no classes going on, I'll usually tell them to come back and
Mm.
try a class or just see a class if they have the time. But
Yeah,
but
that's
nowadays I think it's easier to do because you can show them and people Google it, right? And then
yeah.
YouTube videos pop up and all this stuff pops up. So
Which is depending
yeah,
on
I
depending on
know.
what you pair with what words you pair with that search. Ooh, that could get you a whole bunch of different
Oh
different
yeah,
things.
yeah, right. It could be it could
Yeah.
be a good thing and it could be a bad thing, but
What was the most rewarding part for you, like as you were, kind of running the affiliate, still coaching and things like that? Like, what was the most rewarding thing for you from through that experience?
probably just seeing people connect with each other. Just
Mm,
people make
yeah.
new friendships out of it because I think it's hard to meet new people and make friends like as you get older, as being an adult, right? Because all you have is really is if you're not part of a CrossFit gym or any like gym, you go to work, you go to home, and then
Mm.
maybe you see friends when you go out to on the weekends, right? So there's not a whole lot of like connecting going on with people. So it's hard to make friends that way. If oh, it's hard to make friends as an adult, I think, but it's easier. But when I've seen people that probably would have never met outside of CrossFit become really good friends. Like they come to the same class all the time and they just like connect very well. They just have the same like vibe or whatever you want to call it. But so they like start hanging out outside of the gym and then and then all of a sudden you have this like small like, you know, tribe within the tribe, right? Just hanging out outside, just, you know, doing fun things outside of just the gym.
For sure. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like, what do you think it is about that experience that brings people together like that? 'Cause I agree.
Yeah.
And like, even just my own personal experience, like some of my closest friends are people that I've met through CrossFit, you know,
Yeah.
um, whether at North Scottsdale, like we're both at now, or at gyms that I've
Yeah.
been a member at before, right? Like from your, what would you think, what would you say is like you know, the reason or two that make you
I
feel
think
like
it's
that?
just I know. Well, humans are kind of we're social animals. Like we enjoy being around other people, and when you do something like that's fun and that brings you positive feelings, like that joy, whatever, right? It just makes you, I think, a little bit closer in some way, like with another person, like with a group of people that you normally wouldn't have any connections with.
Yeah.
So I think just you take a class, you're part of a community, right? You all have the same mindset. You're there to like get healthier, work on your health, improve your life, and you're doing it with other people who want the same thing, right? And you're doing this really hard thing, and you're doing it together. And then at the end of it, you both can have different scales, but at the end of the day, you both are breathing heavy, both are tired, and you guys can talk about it, and then you kind of relate that way, and that just helps people, I think, establish better, relationships with other people.
Yeah, there's not much that compares with like that feeling after a class is done, right? Everything is
Yeah,
just kind of, you're spent from whatever the workout was. And
yeah,
you get your couple, group of people together right afterwards. You stick around for a few minutes and you're like, oh man, that was really hard. Like I tried to do this and blah blah blah. And now you're just, you're
yeah,
BSing with some other people from class. Who knows what their background is compared to
yeah. Oh,
yours? And
yeah.
in that moment, it kind of doesn't matter, right?
No, it doesn't.
But you've all just been through this really hard thing together, and you came out the other side, and you're like, oh man, like
Yeah,
that was really tough. Oh, cool. All right, that's how you did it. Maybe I'll try that next time or whatever. And then
yeah,
you're ready to come back the next day.
yeah. I think at the end, your barriers are down too, right? You're too tired to like put up like these social barriers that you don't want to talk to anybody, or like you're too anxious to talk to somebody. You're tired, they're tired, and you're both just talking to each other at at a normal level, and it's a nice thing to have to experience with someone else, right? So I don't
That's
know.
it.
It's
That's a fun way to put it. That it's just like you're too tired to have the barriers. It's like I hadn't thought about it from that way yet, but
yeah,
that's a really good way to put it. It's like, yeah, when you're that exhausted, you're spent. You're like, I don't want to put in the effort to put on to have some sort of cover up of like who I'm, think I'm supposed to be.
yeah,
It's like I'm just gonna be me for a few minutes.
yeah. So I think it
Yeah.
helps.
Nice. Yeah, it's been like uh kind of trying to, as you were saying, I'm thinking through like, because I feel like now this will be a few episodes in a row that this kind of this point comes up, which is in my mind making it seem like, all right, there's really something here to it. It's like and you
Yeah,
kind of
because
mentioned it too. There's this whole concept of like the third place theory or whatever. Like you mentioned, people like have their house, they have work, and people used to have like a third place they could go to, which for a lot of people used to be church, and
yeah,
for some people it still
oh
is, which is
yeah,
totally cool. But it's like now,
yeah,
it's like less prevalent, and it's like, well, where could CrossFit affiliates fit into something like that, right? Of
right,
like
right.
being that spot for people to go to that's not home or work, which nowadays is the same place for a lot of people too.
Oh yeah, for
You
sure.
know,
Yeah, I think in sociology, it's like a social anchor, right?
ooh, yeah.
It's something you kind of like attach yourself to, like who you are. You're not just whoever you are as you do for a career, right?
Hmm.
It's who you are just as you, as Henry, as Marco, and with these other people that are the same way. That you're not thinking of them as whatever their occupation is. You're just thinking of them as the athlete that they are, right? So, and in religion, like in sociology, they call it collective effervescence. It's why religion is very like, was why church is very good at uniting people because
Mm.
they have the same, beliefs and all and same practices, and it's fun and it's a joyous event, right? And CrossFit, it is a joyous event, even though you're kind of like, suffering through it, right? But it's fun to work out for the most part. But you're doing it with other people, and you guys and you have the same, again, same beliefs, right? You want to live longer. You want to be able to do the hard things, to run faster, to lift heavier, or just be able to do things outside without worrying that you can't do it, right? To have more confidence in yourself, right? And when all these things kind of happen with another person in the same environment, it's really hard to not like the other person or not want to be around them more, So I think for most people that's probably why that happens.
I like that social anchor piece. I hadn't heard that term before, but that makes a ton of sense. And it's
Yeah.
at least what it makes sense to me is because like if you're going into a CrossFit gym, right? If you're getting ready to sign up or whatever the case is, and you're brand new, you haven't done CrossFit before, it's like you're probably already you're looking for something initially from a fitness perspective or a health perspective, right? And it's
Yeah.
like that's kind of a foregone conclusion. Like you're gonna get in better shape if you sign up at a CrossFit gym and if
Yeah,
you
for sure.
start going consistently. That's kind of table stakes. Like that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's like all these extra things that you didn't expect
Yeah, yeah.
that it could become your social anchor. That it's
Yeah.
like, oh, and I can do that and get stronger and fitter and healthier along the way.
Yeah.
Whew, like that's an enticing combination of things to have happen
Yeah.
in your life, right?
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. So, they talk about community a lot in CrossFit, but like community is just a byproduct of everything that happens in a CrossFit gym, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Man, that's a good point. I like that, dude. All right.
Yeah.
So what, and I guess kind of, I got one more question for you, and kind of before we get to that, right? Like,
Yeah.
thanks for going through your story. Like, this is really cool just to kind of hear your perspective and how you've gone
Yeah.
through everything, right? And like where it all came from. So it was really cool. So now, kind of thinking back on your whole CrossFit experience, right? From athlete to coach, affiliate owner.
Yeah.
Um, if you could go back to like that younger version of yourself that was like, when you were going through college, you were going through like that, just like
Yeah.
that bench,
Yeah.
the college grad
Yeah.
lifting
Yeah.
program, right?
It's
Benching,
just
curling, and running.
yeah, chest and buys,
Maybe a
back and
couple pull ups.
tries. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If you
Not
could
a
go
lot of
back to
legs.
him. Yeah. It's like they were getting some work in there, right?
Yeah, yeah. The
You were
running,
running a
right?
little bit.
Yeah.
If you could go back to that younger version of yourself, and that younger version was like, "Hey, I heard of this thing called CrossFit," and you could give them a couple minutes of advice on why it would be a good idea for young Henry to try it out. What would you tell him?
As far as what I would tell my younger self to try out CrossFit sooner, or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's fun. I don't know. It's a great way. I think if my buddy asked me that question earlier, like I would have done it either way because I like doing physical things, right? I do like working out and those kind of things. So I don't know what I would say to him other than I would like it. I don't know. I don't know that, to be honest. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Because when I see like younger people, especially like when like parents bring their kids in, like their teenage kids, and they start doing
Yeah.
it, like I'm just jealous, And because I wish I did that, right, in high school, because I would,
Yeah.
I because when you're young, you get stronger much faster, and you get faster much faster, right? Everything just happens better, and your knees don't hurt, and your back doesn't hurt, and and then all you can think about is like how much stronger you would have been now if you started then, right?
Yeah.
So I probably would tell him I would be a lot stronger at 40 if I did it back in 20 when I was 20. So
Well, and I think that's a cool bow on it, because that's a sign for like anybody that's out there listening to this, that's thinking about it on the fence. It's like, go start, kind of like the business advice you guys, right? Like, just do it, get
just
on
do it,
in there,
yeah.
because the sooner you start, the better off you'll be in the long run, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And plus you'll meet some cool people on the way. So
Yeah.
and I think there's a it's called an 85-year-old longitudinal study by Harvard. Have you heard of that study?
Think I have. Yeah.
So
But
they
yeah.
they I think it's like I don't know, 800 participants. Like half of them were Harvard students, half were just kids from Boston, the
Okay.
city in Boston, and then their counterparts, like their wives and husbands. And they found out, like at the end of the study, well, they're still doing it, but like at the 85-year mark, they found out that what keeps people happy and what keeps living longer is the relationships they have with other people.
Mm,
And like their health and their fitness and what they could do didn't really it mattered, but it didn't really matter as much as relationships. Because the more better your relationships are, the warmer they are, they say, is like the
mm,
more, likely you're going to take care of yourself, right? So I
makes
think
sense.
they said that people who are in their 50s who have good relationships, they live longer and they're happier when they're 80, right? And their quality of life is better too. They're not, they're so self-sufficient, at that
Yeah.
older age. So, and I think CrossFit really helps with the health and fitness part for sure, but then also the
Mm,
relationship parts. I think it helps even more because again, you're not gonna like for guys, it's if you meet another guy in the gym that's like close to you and you compete with them, you start becoming friends with that person, right? Even
for
though
sure.
you're
100%.
competing against them a little bit, and you
Mm,
start for guys, I I'm sure how you are, but you enjoy just talking shit to each other, right? That's how guys kind of show their love for each other, just talking shit. But in a kind of positive way, right? In a way that's pushing you and pushing them to be better. I
productive.
think
It's
having that
productive, but
relation,
it is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think having that relationship will help you with your own relationship as well. just having that positive relationship that you're just practicing, just being supportive and, and talking shit at the same time. It just, I think for some of it's helpful, right? But,
Agreed.
and, and for girls, it's probably good for them to see other girls be supportive as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just,
Like having other people around you that are like encouraging you, pushing you,
yeah,
like seeing you progress, and you're all doing it together. Like that can't go,
yeah,
unsaid, right? Like
right.
the long-term benefit of that. So
Yeah.
awesome.
If you had a gym long enough, I think you have a good enough relationship with the coach and the owner too, right?
Yeah.
And that helps too, having someone that there for you too, if you need
Hell yeah.
someone that you don't have anyone else. Like if I would ever move it
Absolutely.
into like a new city, whatever, probably one of the first things I'd do is probably find a CrossFit gym.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we did when we first moved here, right? That was like one of the things on
Yeah.
our list. It's like, gotta find a gym because we know that that's like, I mean, kind of back to that term you brought up earlier, right? That's a social anchor for us.
Yeah.
So that was something that we knew was something we needed to have. So now, Henry, thank you, man. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for, sharing, and you've definitely like kind of given me some terms and things to think about here through this that I'm like, oh man, I
Okay.
hadn't quite thought about it that way. So hell
All
yeah, I
right.
love it.
All
I
right.
love it.
All
So
right. Good, man.
Henry, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, man.
All right.
All
See you,
right.
everybody.
I'll see you.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing with a friend. To get notified of future episodes, please follow the show on your favorite podcast app so you can continue to hear these stories. For more behind-the-scenes content of everyday CrossFitters, follow on YouTube and Instagram at Silverback Media. Until next time, this has been the Silverback Media Podcast.